bike traders. Today we're fortunate enough to bring you Mark Johnson. He's the creator and builder of this MARLBORO bike, a beautiful piece of machinery. I'm going to hand you over to Mark. He's going to run through the bike with you, what he's done and what he's built up on it. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Cool, man.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks very much, and thanks very much for having me, guys. As we said, we're going to walk through the bike. I'll kind of tell you all about the bike, and we're going to cover all the bits and pieces in the bike that are sort of non-standard anymore. So we'll start at the front, and then we'll work our way to the back. So if we start at the front here, we've got a Excel Tokusaga rim, brand new spokes, new hub, and that's attached to the front forks from a KTM 525. So they WP closed chamber upside down forks. The forks have been slightly shortened for the bike. Obviously on a KTM 525 they'd be 300 mils. On the R80 they've been shortened to 275, and of course the springs inside the forks have been changed. We've got progressive springs in there. They go from 5.2 to about 7 on full compression. And along with the front end is the caliper, which also comes to the 525, and an upgraded brake disc just for slightly better braking than from what you get from stock. Still a 21 inch, so the size being the same as the original GS. So moving the way up, you can see to hold the forks in place, we've got two custom triple camps. We've got the top and the bottom. They were machined by Black Silver Customs, who does fantastic work on machining up triple clamps and fitting front ends. So these are custom CNC'd, and well, actually first they water jetted and then CNC'd to fit, attached to the frame. And the front part, the sort of the binnacle and cluster, we've changed a little bit as well. We've got some custom brackets just holding it on the front just for easy access. We've replaced the clock. We've got a little digital ace wheel in there, just pretty simple. Just gives you sort of speed and tacho. Just it's pretty much more than enough. Everything we sort of need there. Handlebars been replaced. We've got the Pro Taper Evo Adventure bars. Just really nice, comfortable sort of position for the bike, I found, out of all the handlebars. We tried quite a few, but this sort of gives the best position. And also on the handlebars, we've fitted the bark busters. So we'll just show you over here. We've got the integrated LED flickers, which makes a nice little touch. You know, you don't have the indicators sort of hanging out anywhere, so all nicely tucked away. The wiring for the most part in the front, the switches, indicators and stuff, we've kind of left standard. The main reason for that is, you know, there's quite a few of us that go and ride these bikes together. We've all got sort of similar bikes. So really, if something happens, at least we can help each other out. You know, if we decided to change a lot of the wiring, we may just run into sort of issues where if something breaks, nobody's got a spare part. So that's kind of why we left the wiring the same on this bike. If we come down to the front here and we're looking from the front, another addition to the bike is an oil cooler. The motor's actually been upgraded. It's now a 1000cc bike. It was 800. The bike's been fitted with a Siebenrock kit, so it's a sort of a bolt-on kit that you get from Siebenrock. You get new barrels and pistons. The pistons are sort of a lightweight piston, so it really ups the power on the bike. I think it's somewhere around the sort of 60 odd horsepower, which is not bad. I mean, for a bike that's 30, 40 years old, she goes pretty well. So obviously with the extra power, we just put in the oil cooler just to provide a little bit of extra cooling on the oil, obviously. Just keep it all nice and good there. The motor as well has been totally redone. So along with the barrels and pistons, everything's been checked. You know, we've stripped it right down. We check all the tolerances, make sure everything's fine. If it's not within spec, it gets replaced. The heads have been changed, they've been gas flowed. We've also changed the valves so we can run unleaded fuel. So we changed the valve seats, valve stems, we put in new valves. So all of that has been done. We actually still use the same carburetors on the bike, the 32 millimeters. according to Siebenreich, the 32mm Bing carburetors provide the best amount of low-down torque. You can use the 40 mils. They'll give it slightly more top end, but not as much low-down grunt, and I kind of prefer the low-down grunt for doing those power slides around the corners. Having a look right down at the bottom here, from the motor, we've got these custom headers. These were made by a company called Barker, so totally custom. The header all the way through to the wide pipe is all custom made, and we've got an Akropovich tailpiece on the back, a nice titanium piece, so super light. And then just to protect it all, we've got the GS sort of branded bash plate, so the aluminium bash plate underneath, totally custom made to fit the GS, so it provides nice protection for the headers and for the bash plate, and it's rubber mounted, of course. The original on the R80 is bolted to the pan, so of course if you hit a rock you stand a chance of shredding your oil pan, so we just mount it on rubber so that hopefully the rubber shears before your oil pan does. We've also sort of made up a little custom gear lever. So we've given a couple more options here, so depending on what you like, if you'd like to shift your movement a little bit more or make the movement a little bit shorter, we've got a little sort of, not a knurled piece, but just a piece that can turn, so when you change with your boot, it actually rolls up and down with your boot, so it just makes it a little bit smoother. The pegs to rest your feet are slightly wider than standard. They've also been lowered, so we've made up this little bracket over here just to lower the foot peg sort of by 20-30 millimeters. Again, it's all ergonomics for the R80. We found that this works really nicely in combination with the handlebars. And while we're here, you can sort of see on the frame we've got a piece here, so this is strengthening for the frame. And unfortunately you can't see, but underneath the tank there's a whole lot of strengthening components as well. So because we are sort of lengthening everything here up at the front, and we ride the bike pretty hard, so we just want that extra bit of rigidity and support for the frame. And at the bottom here we can also see that we've moved the side stand. So normally the R80 GS has what's called the suicide stand, and that kind of kicks out from the front, and as soon as you lift the bike up it kicks back and hits you on the leg. Right, and we move from the side stand, the custom side stand, up to the air filter here. We replaced the normal BMW paper filter with a washable, reusable uni filter, so quite nice. Just oil it after a ride, take it out, wash it out, and then let it dry, and then just re-oil it again. Battery component, stock standard here, nothing really changed. We kind of again left it the same, just for if you're out there, something happens to the battery. Generally people have a lead acid battery charger, not many of them will have a lithium charger, so that's why we've left it lead acid. Fortunately, obviously a little bit of extra weight, but you know, I guess compared to not having a charger or being able to be helped, I think we'd rather stick with that. So moving on up here, we've got the subframe. Again, this is all sort of custom made. It's a custom sort of struts that we've got here. The tail rack, all custom made, where the indicators are located, all custom made. The supports, we've got little hooks on here which provide place to put your luggage or hook up your luggage. The mudguard is a sort of a two-piece component. We've got from the top piece over here, it comes from a service. Really nice light piece, and underneath here we've got an extension which just provides the coverage for mud splash back onto the battery and getting near the engine. Taillight, small, concise, nothing spectacular. Indicators also small, light, nothing spectacular there. Just, you know, we've kind of kept it sort of light just in case you drop the bike. You're not killing expensive indicators, you can just replace them pretty easily. Coming down to the rear wheel, the differential's been totally rebuilt. It's a stock ratio of 37:11, which comes with the R80. So nothing really changed in terms of that. But a couple of mods we've done are we've put on a breather.
So normally what we have here is just what looks like almost like a little mushroom, just allows the diff case to breathe. The reason we put this on here is if you ever go through water, the diff contracts and then it actually starts sucking in water. So we've got this little elbow with a pipe that runs to underneath the seat, so it just breathes in from over there rather than sucking in the water. And we've got the brake lever, which has actually been turned around. It normally sits down here at the bottom. This has been turned around just to avoid the rocks, so we don't hit the rocks. The rim is a stock rim. It's got brand new spokes and it's just been laced with an offset. And the reason we offset it by about 4 to 5 millimeters, is we can actually run a fatter tire. So the stock tire that you run with a stock GS is 120 mil. By offsetting the lace, we can get a 140 mil onto the bike. So just a nicer, wider tire, a bit more grip, and gives you the capability to run your your Continentals, the TKCs, and a couple of other brands. The swing arm is we've taken the stock swing arm and we've lengthened it by 50 millimeters. The addition of the length gives a bit more stability for the bike, and it also raises up the bike a little bit more. The swing arm is attached to a custom-made rear shock. It's actually made by Martin Petzold, who's down here in Cape Town. The spring has been set up for originally my weight and kind of set up all the preload specifically for my weight. Pretty simple unit, nothing too fancy there, but works pretty well with the bike, fits really well. Martin also puts an offset in the bush just to kind of keep it away from the frame, which also works quite nicely. The seat up here is also custom. We've taken the stock seat, we've chopped it, we've reshaped it. Because we've made a change in the subframe, it means that the angle of the original seat doesn't fit anymore, so we have to make all these modifications just so it lines up nicely with the tank. And that brings us to the main piece of the bike, which stands out quite a bit, is the 43 litre HBN tank. So I think we probably get about 650 kilometers on the tank. It's quite nice not having to fill up all the time, and if you're planning to make a trip through Africa, obviously works pretty well for that.
Alright guys, we're just going to start her up and then you can hear what she sounds like.
Well guys, thanks a lot for watching the video. Mark gave us quite a bit of information on the bike, and wow, it was amazing. So yeah, please, if you like this video, please click the link below and subscribe to our YouTube channel to follow us for more videos. Also feel free to contact us on Facebook at GS Bike Traders. Thanks again, Mark. Hope you enjoyed.
Nice. Thank you.